Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. So today I have a little tutorial for you all. I recently posted this on my Instagram, and I decided to make a tutorial in case anyone wanted to create one. So this is just a little 2-drawer pull box. Drawer slide out on the top and the bottom. I've decorated the top of this one, and I even added feet to the bottom of this. It has pattern paper all around. This was inspired by the little 2 drawers that you can pick up from Dollar Tree. And as you can see, this is a little longer and a little taller. Just a tad bit. But I wanted this to fit the purpose of being able to hold these little bead boxes, little jewelry containers. I buy them in bulk off Amazon. So this is one that I have going in a different compartment like this, and it fits perfectly in the drawer, and you can decorate it and it still fits. So yeah, here is what I've made. Okay, so for the tutorial, you will need 2 sheets of 8x10 cardstock, 2 sheets of this 7 5/8 by 10 5/8 with cardstock, so 2 of those, and then 2 5 3/4 by 10 1/4 inch cardstock. So this is what I use to make my box, and I'm using 110-pound cardstock. All right, so now on to scoring the pages. Again, you need 2 of each size here. So I'll start with my 8x10, and this 8x10 is what creates the actual drawer. So on the 10-inch side, you're going to score at 1 1/4, 2 1/2, 7 1/2, and 8 3/4. Then you're going to flip to your 8-inch side, and you're going to score at 1 1/4, 2 1/2, 5 1/2, and 6 3/4. All right, so this again is our drawer, and you're going to do this to both sheets, so you need 2 of these. All right, and then on the 7 5/8 by 10 5/8, this actually formed the compartment that will hold the drawer. So on the 10 5/8 side, you're going to score at 3 1/8, and then 6 1/4, 7 1/2, and then that is that. All right, and then on the 7 5/8 side, you are going to score at 1 1/4, and 6 3/8. All right, so again, this is the housing part for the drawer. And then on the 5 3/4 side, you're going to 5 3/4 by 10 1/4, you're going to score on the 10 1/4 side at 2 5/8, and then 7 5/8. And then on the 5 3/4 side, you are going to score at 3 1/8. Okay. All right. So now we can cut our pieces. So for the drawer, basically all of the outer rectangles are going to be cut off completely. And then if the long side is facing you, this square here will remain. So basically all of the L's and backwards L's will be cut out along the score line. So just do that. So now you should be left with something that looks like this. And you want to next cut, like miter the corners of this square and leave it attached to this long rectangle. So I'm just gonna cut down, miter. All right, so now you will be left with this, and I'll leave it on this side so that when I form the top of my drawer, the corners are pretty crisp and this side is tucked in, instead of having to try to cut and make everything even. So when you're gluing, you will fold everything in on itself. These edges here will fold under the short side, and then that will fold over like this. And then those two will fold down, and then this one will fold over like so. And you would go in with your bone folder, flatten everything out. Your drawer should look like this. Okay. So that is a drawer, and you would do that for both pieces of the 8x10 that you've cut. All right. Next, we have the housing for the drawer. All right, so what you're gonna do is, with this side facing you, where both of these big 3 1/8 rectangles are facing, you're going to cut out this second rectangle on both sides of the page. And then you are going to cut apart these flaps and miter their corners. All right, so you should be left with something like this. Fold on all of the fold lines. Crease them low. Okay, so you fold this top fold down onto the second one, and I'll fold these flaps up. Then I would have glue on these flaps and let them fold into your box. And then they all go on the inside of the box. And I do this because since I mitered the corners, if you're trying to align this top flap to the bottom, sometimes it can make it seem like it's shorter than what it is. So say I tried to glue it like this, my box would look short. So if I align everything based on this outside flap, everything should be fine. So when you glue that in, you'll be left with something that looks like this. And then your drawer fits inside of here, like so. So that's your drawer and the housing for the top part of the box. So then taking this final piece, again, do that for both of those sheets. Okay, so taking this last piece, this first portion should be the 3 1/8 piece. You're just gonna cut out the shorter square in the back. this is what you are left with. Just fold it in. So this actually forms the top portion of your box, and then if you do the second one, you'll put it upside down and this will form the bottom portion of your box. So when you're gluing everything together, you should have two drawers. You should have two drawers and housing that will look like this. And I like to glue them in together just to make sure everything holds its shape. You're going to place them on top of one another, glue them together. So this is what you have at first. Okay, so once you have glued your top and your bottom together, it should look something like this. And I will mention, when you're gluing, when we made our housing for the drawer, one portion we folded on itself and one we did not. So I put the two edges of the casings together that only have one layer of paper in the middle, so that everything is equally as strong. So this is what you'll have once you glue those drawers together. Okay, so then you'll have this piece that you just scored and cut out the rectangles or squares that were on the side. This will form the overall housing. It will cover all these lines showing where you glue these two together. The only thing is that I didn't think about adding some hangover that you would tuck underneath to close it up. In case you didn't want to cover it with paper, you can go back and do that. Also, if your boxes like mine are a little off, just go back and add an extra 1/8 of an inch in your measurements here and recut everything. So mine would be 5 1/4 instead of 5 1/8. Yeah, so that's a quick fix to that. And again, you should have cut out 2 of these. So one will be placed over the top, and then you flip it over and place it over the bottom, and then your back will be super duper sturdy for you to have. And then you can just cut your mats for your box and you'll end up with something like this. I just have one big piece. I kind of eyeballed it and cover the entire thing. I didn't want there to be any edges seen. And then for this piece, it's just the 5 1/4 by 1 1/4 inch measurements. I wanted it to almost seem seamless, so that is what you do for that. So I hope this tutorial made sense for you. If it didn't, please don't hesitate to ask some questions down below. I'll try my best to answer them. Yeah, so that's all that I have. Thank you so much for watching and have a good day.